Hey, so video games. I love them, I need them, and I really need to stop buying more of them. My backlog is scary, you guys. So I have a lot of footage from the last 3 years of me playing and recording video games. And I've been racking my brain for a while on what to make a video on with said footage. So I decided on video games. In general. Yep. That's what I'm rolling with. I'm honestly not sure where to start. I have so much I want to say about this topic, but I need to compact it into a reasonably lengthy video. Well, for the newbies out there, let's start with, what is a video game? Webster's Dictionary defines video games as such. Video game, noun, an electronic game in which players control images on a video screen. Sure, that is technically what they are, but let's go back in time a bit. Not that far. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Donkey Kong. The footage you're seeing is from the 1986 North American NES version of the game that was released on the NSO service a few years back. But the arcade original was released in Japan on July 9th, 1981. I chose this game specifically because it does something that no other game I could think of ever did up to that point. It told a story. Sure, it was a basic story with very little context, but it's a story nonetheless. Most games around this time didn't even have stories. You just chased high scores and tried to get your name on a leaderboard. Woo. And while Donkey Kong was still that at its core, it also told the story of a carpenter at the time from Brooklyn named Jumpman at the time, who had to rescue his girlfriend Pauline from the titular big ape, Donkey Kong. You climbed through 4 stages until you reached the top of the building and finally rescued Pauline. As time went on, games and their stories grew more detailed. We've gone from man rescues woman from giant ape or lizard to... have you heard Starbomb's games with simple plot songs?
It was the distant future 2005. All I wanted to do was chill out and retire. But genetically enhanced renegades named Foxhound stole a bunch of nukes and had shit on lockdown.
Okay, we're past our time in the snake.
Colonel Campbell said I had to infiltrate before they start a nuclear conflict. What a bunch of jerks.
You're a bag of
I guess what I'm trying to say is, video games are art. Now wait, hold on a sec. Take that arrow back down from the closed screen. I know what you're doing. I know. Just hear me out, okay? I know that sounds super cliche, but really think about it. Games have indeed come quite a long way in terms of how they tell their stories. Let's take a look at a few more examples. Fast forward! The Legend of Zelda series has a lot of stories in it. Most of them boil down to boy is summoned to save girl and the kingdom that they live in from a giant blue pig wizard. And while A Link to the Past certainly tells that story, it crams a lot into the middle of it to make it somewhat interesting. Instead of scaling 4 floors to not even directly fight the monkey that opposes you, you go into many different dungeons across the whole kingdom of Hyrule and fight creatures that range from a bunch of eyeballs to a hamburger worm. A Link to the Past may not have had fancy special effects, cinematic camera angles, or even any kind of voice acting, but one of the things it did have was character. It oozed charm out of every pixelated orifice. Look at this nice little cottage. It's got a nice little witch out front, you got some potions you can buy inside that'll heal your magics or your health or both. And if you gave the witch out front a mushroom that you found in the Lost Woods, she would make you a powder that will allow you to turn these guys into life-saving fairies that you can catch and put into bottles. And if you run out of hearts and have one in a bottle, they will revive you mid-battle so you can continue fighting whatever the heck it was you're fighting. And you don't even need to go here. It's not even required to complete the main quest, but the benefits it grants you far outweigh the reasons not to go. And there's lots of little stuff like this all over this game. The aforementioned bottles, you don't need to get any of them, but the benefits far outweigh the punishment that you may face not getting them. These optional side quests almost act as a sort of difficulty slider, making the game easier or harder depending on what you are looking for. This allows the player to express their skills however they please. So how does this make video games art? Well, let's jump back into Merriam-Webster's dictionary again for the definition of art. Specifically, definition 4. Art, noun. The conscious use of skill and creative imagination, especially in the production of aesthetic objects. Example, the art of painting landscapes. Or, for a more relevant example, the art of making video games. Or if you're playing one, the art of playing video games. Huh? What's that? You don't think playing video games takes any sort of skill or creative imagination? Okay. Let me see if I can prove you wrong. Let me break this down.
Video games don't require skill.
This one's actually pretty easy to prove wrong, but I think one of my favorite examples to use is from Street Fighter. Street Fighter is a fighting game where 1 or 2 players face each other in virtual combat. The winner is the first player to bring their opponent's life bar down to 0. They can do this through the use of punches, kicks, throws, fireballs, electricity, claws. As long as it does damage, you can use it. But how do you do all of that with this? By pressing buttons, of course.
What are you supposed to be? He's a stick, stupid. You hit bugs with him.
Well, that's an oversimplification.
That's right, kids. Like this.
No, put me down. Ah! Ow!
Okay, you actually need to press combinations of buttons. For example, in order to do Ryu or Ken's fireball move, or Hadouken as it's colloquially called, you take the joystick and move it down, then you roll it towards your on-screen opponent and press any punch button as soon as the joystick hits left or right, at which point they'll shout, Hadouken! And throw the fireball. Seems simple enough, right? Maybe. In this clip from my trip to Africa last year, my girlfriend is trying to use Rose's Soul Spark, which requires the same motion as the Hadouken.
It's okay. Takes practice. Try a little faster. There it is!
It took her a little bit, but eventually she got it. And if she keeps practicing, I'm sure she could go pro and win at EVO, one of the biggest fighting game tournaments in the world.
Playing video games doesn't produce creativity or imagination.
I have a video for you to go watch after this one. It's by a creator named Desk. He makes videos on fighting games. Like, very good videos. Like, really good videos. So anyway, he has this one where he does an infinite combo with Dan in Street Fighter V, and, well, just watch this. Doth my ears deceive me? Is that music? Music being made by a game? Music being made by a game controller? Say, doesn't music require creativity? Is not music considered art?
Oh, come on! You gotta admit this is cool!
Okay, I'll stop being a smart aleck for a second. But I mean, he's making music by playing a game. In all seriousness, if you think playing games doesn't produce or take any creativity, have you played Mario Maker? This game inspires so many people to make all sorts of things with a simple Mario-themed level editor. Some of the things on display here are insane! I made this one. It's kind of fun. Wow! So this video went places I did not anticipate it would go while writing the script. So, what did you think? Am I wrong in saying any of this? Do you think video games are art? Are they not art? Core A Gaming has a great video that discusses the same thing. I'll leave a link to it in the description along with the other videos I've mentioned. Anyway, if you want to see more, I'll be making a few more vids here on the channel. My buddy Shane and I are also doing a Let's Play channel that I hope you'll check out. Links are in the description. Please do the YouTube things, and I'll see you next time. Later, nerds!